everybody, and welcome to a scripting tutorial on how to make a shop GUI in Roblox Studio. Why is my selector on? So I'm going to be teaching you how to make a shop GUI that, you have two options. I'm going to show you how to make, like, a button at the top of your screen, maybe for, like, a fighting game that lets you buy new items. And I'm going to give the option, to make it so that you have a little green ring, simulator style, or for like a shop, NPC or whatever, that opens the shop when you touch that. So let's go ahead and get into the tutorial. So, what you need to do is, the first thing we need to do is we need to insert a screen GUI into our starter GUI. You're going to want to name this screen GUI shop. So, by the way, this video is meant for if you have just a decent little bit of coding experience. I'm not going to be teaching you the extreme basics of stuff like print hello world. I do expect you to have a little bit of coding knowledge. Even I use tutorials every now and again. So if you're like really good and you're just here to get some info, then that totally makes sense. Whatever. I don't know why I'm going on such a long rant. Let me just teach you how to make the thing. So then you need to insert a text button into this shop GUI, and we're going to rename this text button to shop open. And you're going to want to go ahead, never use the offset size. Always use scale, because otherwise it'll look at this exact same size on every screen, which might be too big for some giant screens, but too small for small screens. You want to use something called scale, which is like a % of the screen. So this will scale to how big my screen is if you use this scale function. So you can modify this button as you like, but I'm just going to do some modification of my own. Again, you do not have to do anything of what I'm doing. Just design this however you like. This is just my personal taste when it comes to making like GUIs and stuff. Yeah, hang on, let me just, I'm not very good at positioning. There we go. If you have stuff like Roundify, you can use it. The looks of this button really don't matter. I'm just making it look good. But you definitely want the text to be like shop or item shop or something like that. So now that you have this button, you're going to want to insert a frame. Actually, no, you want to insert a scrolling frame. Now, depending on how many items you have, you're going to need to do different settings. I'm just going to assume we want, like, I'm just going to assume for now that we want a couple, like maybe 50 items. So I'm going to make the scale of the canvas size. That's basically how long you want this scrolling to be, which right now is, you know, it's very long scroll bar, which is exactly what we want. Again, you can design this exactly how you like it. Really doesn't matter how you design the, really doesn't matter how you design this menu. This is just all your personal choice. So, do whatever you see fit. For example, I'm gonna choose something like this because just, I don't know, I just like this kind of look. And then make sure, again, that never use offset. I was gonna say do never. That's way too big. But yeah, never use offset. It won't change the size. I forgot something. Okay, so you need to make this, actually, you need to put this in a frame. And you need to name this shop GUI. Make this as big as you want. I'm going to name this, so I'm going to make this about 0.2 by 0.2. Actually, no, it's way too small. 0. Nah? I'm sorry, I'm just kind of messing with the GUI. Again, you don't have to do my exact steps or anything like that. The color of this really doesn't matter. We're never going to see it because there will be stuff over it. So then make sure you put this in the middle of the screen, or on the side, or wherever you want to put it. Again, all of this stuff is just customization. This will not change the script at all. I'm going to go ahead and put mine on the side of the screen, like that. Alright, now you have your little GUI. So now you have now you have the menu where you are going to buy all your stuff. You have all the menu stuff ready. So now what we need to do is we need to insert into this scrolling frame a text button. And each one of these text buttons is going to be the item that you have. So for me, I'm going to make the scale of this text button like 0.025 because, well, actually, no, this needs to be 1. So you need to make the scale on the X 1, and you need to make the offset -5, I think. No, you need to make it negative... You need to make it -12, and then add the size of your border. And then for the height, depends on how big your canvas size is. For me, I'm just going to be using 0.05 as my button size. And again, customize this as you like. Also, if you want to have a border, make the offset on the size negative the size of your border. So now that you have your button, you're going to want to name this whatever item you're going to be purchasing. So let's get something like a sword from the toolbox or whatever tool you're using, and we're going to rename this to sword, and we're going to make the text a sword. And now you need to insert a couple of values into this item text button. You need to insert a 1 int value, 1 string value, and a second int value. So the first int value is the ID, is the item ID, and you need to set that for as many items as you have. Like, this is the first item we're adding to the shop, so this needs to be 1. The string value needs to be the item name, so what it'll say when we show, like the purchase menu. And then this value is the cost, so I'm going to go for 100. Now, one thing to note, I'm not going to be teaching you how to make a saving currency script. You can look up Alvin blocks for that. So we're just going to insert a generic currency script from the toolbox. If you already have your currency script, don't worry about this. So we're just going to go ahead and insert this. Yep, that'll make it. That is actually, that's Alvin blocks currency script, funny enough. So yeah, this is a saving currency script. Just put it into the Surface Script service, and you can modify all the settings you like the name. So I'm just gonna leave it on money, and the starting currency, which I'll set to 100, so we can buy the thing. So yeah, you just need to have some kind of leader stats currency for this. Also, I'm gonna make this text scale. Yeah, and I'm gonna make it fantasy font because fantasy font is the best. And now you need to insert just into your GUI, not the scrolling frame, just the normal frame. You need to insert a text button. This needs to be 0.2 scale big. No, actually, no, it needs to be 0.5. Sorry. Wait, no. I'm silly. It needs to be... Hang on. Why is this... Oh, yeah, it has offset. Oops, I'm silly. So the scale needs to be 0.5. And then the X scale, at the very least. And then the Y scale needs to be 0.2. The position needs to be 0.5. I might make a model of this GUI, but I'm not going to make a model of the code because I do want you to learn and actually know how to use this code. That's not what I wanted. And know how to use this code and not just give it to you. That's just not a good thing to do. Also, again, for the border size of the object, you need to make the size negative that border size, and then you need to add the position to the offset. If you already have your shop GUI and it looks something like this, you can of course skip all this. I guess you could have done that earlier. So you need to name this this is a text button. Oops. I made a text button. It needs to be a text label. You can copy paste all your info from that if you accidentally just did what I did, but you probably did because you're here for a tutorial. Sorry about that. There you go. There you go. I feel really silly. There you go. So you're going to want to make the text on this just say cost. Make it whatever stinking font you want. I'm just gonna do fantasy, I guess, because it's the best font. And then you're going to make the background of this probably green or yellow. I prefer green. Actually this, and then you want to make the Y position scale 0.6, I believe. And then you're going to want to rename this to cost. You are going to want to rename this. You're going to make a duplicate of this cost so that it's Y position scaling to 0. I just got a pig. Sorry about that. You're going to want to make the Y position scaling 0. You're going to want to name it to item name. You're going to want to name it item name. And make the text name. The color of this can be whatever you want, as long as it's not the same color as other things. Well, it can be, it will look good. I'm going to go for something like that. And then, we need to insert another one of these. We need to make the size 0.4. And we need to make the position 0.2. Oh, and then the size needs to be negative. The size needs to be negative, and then the size of the border. Wait, no. It already is, isn't it? Yeah, it already is. And you need to name this one description. And then you're gonna want to, again, change it to another color. I'm just gonna go for yellow, I guess. And you're going to have the text just be description. And then you want to have, and then you need to insert a text button with the same size and everything as all these as the smaller two objects and the same position and everything. Let's see here. There we go. Man, it's been 12 minutes and we haven't even gotten to the coding yet. Jeez. I always forget how long scripting tutorials can be. And then you want to, for the, I cannot speak today. And then for the positioning and all that good stuff. And then you need to, why can't I speak? Why can't I just stay on one topic? You want to name this, by, and then you want to name, and then you want to have its Y scale be 0.8. No, it's Y position scale. I'm silly. There we go. And now I'm just going to go ahead and make it pink, and I'm going to have the text scaled, make the font fantasy, and I'm going to name it by. So now that we have all of these buttons, we need to go ahead and go back to your little shop thing, and we need another string value. And why is the item name 0? What? Oh, right. This isn't a string value for some reason, even though I inserted a string, whatever. So this needs to be, rename this to item name, and then duplicate the item name, also make the value of this, your item's name, and then duplicate this and name it description. And then put the description of your item, well, what you want the description to look like when you select the item, what you want it to say about the item. So put in this value, you want to put the description of your item. So I'm just going to have this description be, it's a sword. And now, you're going to want to insert a script into the sword button. And you're going to want to type in script, well, I'm going to zoom in so that y'all can see. Script.parent.mouse button, one click, connect, function, end. Like this. It needs to look exactly like this, otherwise it really won't work. And now you need to do script local ID equals script.parent.id, local cost equals script.parent.cost, local item name equals script.parent.item name, local description equals script.parent dot description. I really hope I spelled that right. And then you're going to want to do local shop GUI equals script dot parent dot parent dot parent. Sorry, I'm just doing. Yeah, all right. That's exactly what you want. Sorry, I was just counting up the parents. And then you're going to want to do shop GUI dot cost dot text equals cost dot value. Shop GUI dot item name dot text equals item name dot value. Shop GUI dot description dot text equals description dot value. So I'm gonna go ahead and run the code just to make sure that if you have any errors or anything, you can fix them now before we have a giant wall of code. So if I click on this, it sets the cost, it says the description, and it says the title of the item. So now what we need to do is we need to insert some stuff into this buy button. We need to insert an int value called item and name it item ID. We need to insert another int value and have it just be called cost. And that's all we need to do for that, actually. And now I'm going to reopen the script. And then we want to do shop GUI dot buy dot item ID equals item equals ID dot value. Shop GUI dot cost dot value. Also, you need to add a. I'm sorry, I made a mistake here. Shop GUI dot buy dot cost dot value equals cost dot value. And then over here you need to, instead of just dot bot dot item ID equals, you need to add a dot value. So now we're basically done with this part of the script. So now we need to insert another script into the buy button. Well, actually, first we need to get the tool that you want to have being sold. So for me, I'm just going to look up like a Roblox classic sword or something. You know, we'll just take like the Roblox classic sword. I don't want to insert the starter pack, so say no if it asks you that. Just name it sword, and now you need to insert a folder into your server storage and name this weapons, or whatever you're trying to sell, like potions or whatever, or just name it items if you have a lot of different things. The name doesn't matter, but, you know, it's easier to read your code if everything is named correctly. So now you have the sword in your weapons. So now we need to go ahead and insert a script into the buy button. So the script needs to say script.parent.mouse button one click connect function, and then it needs to look like this again, you know, and with a bracket. It needs to look exactly like this. And then we want to do if script, well, actually, no, we need to define some locals first. So we need to do local player equals script find first ancestor, which is a player. And then local money equals player.leaderstats.money. So replace this with the name of your currency. It has to be, and if it's not in the leader stats, just replace this with whatever folder your currency is in. So now what you need to do is you need to say if script.parent, if script.parent.item ID is not equal to 0, then, and then you need to do if script.parent.item ID, well, and also you need to do, and then actually, to save us some time, we also want to do and money.value is greater than, also we need to declare another local cost equals script.parent.cost. Also, I'm going to go ahead and capitalize my variables because I just like doing that for tutorials. And if script and money, well, actually, let's also do local ID equals script.parent.item ID. So now we can just do if item, if ID dot value is not equal to 0, and money dot value is greater than or equal to cost dot value, then. So, if ID, and then you're going to type if ID equals 1, then you have to have two equals. Player, oh, I need to capitalize this. It's probably a good thing to do. Player dot, wait, no. Money dot value equals money dot value minus cost dot value. Cost dot value. And next we need to do local sword equals game dot server storage dot weapons dot sword clone. And we want to do sword dot parent equals player dot backpack. So let's go ahead and test it out. Alright, I made some kind of an error, so I'll go ahead and take a look. Nope, I didn't. Hang on. I know what I messed up. So, this is a really silly error on my part. Don't worry if your script wasn't working. It was totally my bad. So we need to go over to this script. Wait, hang on. This should have worked. Oh, no, wait, what? Hang on, I'm confused. Just a second, that should have worked. I made a really silly error. I forgot to include a dot value. That's something that happens a lot as a programmer. So we just need to include ID dot value. We need to include a dot value here. So let's go ahead and test it again. I'm sorry if I gave someone a mini heart attack from that, because I remember when I used to use tutorials all the time and didn't have enough coding knowledge. I used to do that mistake all the time. So there we go. We bought a sword for 100 money, and if we try to buy it again and we don't have enough, then it just doesn't. So, that is the very basic shop GUI, but we're going to keep going. I'm going to teach you a lot more important stuff for this shop GUI. So, obviously, we don't want it to just be stuck on our screen. We want to make it so that it only appears and disappears when we press this shop button. So you're going to want to go ahead and make this shop GUI invisible. Just tick off the visible box. And then you want to insert a script or a local script, doesn't matter, into the shop open object button, and you want to do script.parent.mouse button, one click connect function. Again, you need to do this a lot, so good idea to learn this. This is basically just checks when this is clicked. So what we want to do is we just want to do if script.parent.parent.shopGUI.shopOpen.shopGUI.visible equals true, then, and then insert an else. So then you want to do if it's visible, then script.parent.parent.shopGUI.visible equals false, and then else script.parent.parent.shopGUI.visible equals true. Okay, so let's go ahead and test it. We can open it and close it with this button. Great, and everything still works. So now I'm going to show you how to add more items to your shop, and then I'll show you how to make it so it's opened by going somewhere or touching something. Alright. So now what we need to do is we need to, if you want to add more items, we're going to go ahead and make this visible for coding purposes. Make sure you set this visible to false. Make sure you uncheck this box when we're done here. So if you want to add more items, insert something into this scrolling frame called a UI list layout, which will make it so you don't have to move any of these things. They'll just automatically reposition for you. So then you're going to want to rename this to, I guess I'll sell a slingshot. And then you want to set the cost of this to whatever you want the cost to be. So I'll set the cost of my slingshot to 125 coins or money or whatever. You could change the description to what you want the description to be. So, let's say you want the description to be pew pew. And you set the description to pew pew. Make sure the ID is not the same as anything else. It has to be like 1 up, or if you're using a string ID system, you know, something like that. And then make sure the item name is like slingshot. And as you can see, you know, it says it's a sword, so we just want to go ahead and go to the text and change it to slingshot. Great, that's literally all the coding. No, we don't even have to do any coding to do all of that. And now we need to go ahead and get our slingshot. If you already have tools, you don't have to, you know, look them up in the thing or whatever. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and insert this into my weapons folder. And now I'm going to modify the purchase button script. And this is very simple. So you want to do else if id.value equals 2, then. And then you just want to copy and paste all this code. And instead of having it say sword, have it say slingshot. And then you want to, instead of doing weapons.sword, just do weapons.slingshot. I'm going to rename them classic sword to not classic sword. It's classic slingshot to just slingshot. And there we go. We just added another item. It's that simple. Now we're going to look into 2 more things. If you want to make it open by, like, pressing a button or or like an NPC or something, we'll look into that. Not look in, I already know. And I'm going to show you how to make it so that your items save if you die. So what you want to do is you want to copy and paste this code. And then you're going to want to, instead of having it say player.backpack here, you just want to do player.startergear. So let's go ahead and test this out. Also, I'm going to go ahead and make the shop UI not visible again. So let's see here. If I open my shop and I buy a sword, I have my sword. But if I go ahead and let's say I died in combat or something, will I keep my sword? I might have misspelled the starter gear. Oh, nope. And see, as you can see, I still have my sword. So there we go. There's only one last thing we are going to do in this video, and that is going to be me showing you how to make like a button that you can press to open the shop. That's like, you know, not like a GUI, but like a place in the overworld. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the surface storage. You could stop watching the video right here if you just want a GUI for like a fighting game. But if you want to have to open it by touching something, well then the first thing you need to do is make this visible again and insert a text button into it. Set text scaled. Oops, wrong thing. Set text scaled on this text button to true. Make the text an X. Make the size of this text button 0.2, 0.20. And then make the text color red, and then have the same border size as the rest of everything. And then set the position to negative the size of your button. Again, this is all very personal, whatever you really want it to look like personally kind of stuff for your GUI creation. So we want to name this button X, and just to insert a script into it, and then just have the script say script.parent.mousebutton. It's a text box, isn't it? Yeah, I made a text box, I think. Parent.mousebutton. Yeah, I made a text box accidentally. Text boxes don't have clicks. Let me just transfer all my stuff over to the button. I feel pretty silly. There we go. Sorry about that. I did a silly. I'd say that the best font for like an X button is Gotham. It just straight up looks like a real X button GUI. Instead, don't do what I just did. Don't waste your time. But here we have our little X button, and in the script you just want to do script.parent.mousebutton one-click connect function, as we did with all the scripts before this one. And then you want to do script.parent.parent.visible equals false. That's it. That's how you make an X button. So let's go ahead and test our little X button. And there we go. It works. Sorry about that. So now as the final part of this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make something you step on that makes it visible. So I'm just going to go ahead and insert from the toolbox like a shop. Well, we're just going to insert like a generic shop. Let's see. We'll use something like this. So here we have a cute little shop. You can make your own shop model. You can use a free model, whatever. So now what you want to do is you want to go to parts, and you want to make your part a cylinder. Make it whatever color and material you want, but I suggest neon because it just looks good for like a shop button. You can also make this invisible if you want the shop trigger to be invisible. That is an option too. And then scale it to your liking and put it where you want the shop to open. So touching this part is going to go ahead and make our shop open. So I'm going to put it right here. And you just want to open. I'm just going to name this open shop. So you just want to insert a script into this shop and have it just say script.parent.touched connect function hit. You want to do local player equals hit find first ancestor. It won't autocomplete for you on this part, so you have to, make sure you spell everything right on your own, which is a model. And then local pplayer equals game.players find first child player.name. And then you want to do pplayer.player GUI .shop GUI .visible equals true. So this is a very simple script. I think that this will work. I misclicked. So yeah, let's go ahead and test our little shop script thing. So as you can see, we don't have the option to open it, and we have a little bit of money. So we're gonna go over to this shop here, and when we get there, can I get there faster? Thanks. And when we get there, we can step on this, and it opens the shop. So there you go. That is how you make a shop in Roblox Studio. If you all enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you all later. Goodbye.